Jeff Ullman, CEO, good for. And Jeff, you're probably the first time you've heard this today. What are you good for? Take it away.
Thank you very much. I want to slow it down because there are some very clear black and white issues which are so important. So let's do this. Right now, share. Okay, presentation. I'm sorry for this. Good4.us. The name Good For, which we've registered in multiple countries and multiple trademark classes, really tells the story of and answers what customers worldwide are always looking for in any product, particularly when it has to do with health, and especially if it has to do with pain, because pain is a very, very black and white issue. You have it, and it changes your entire life. You can't do, well, what you expect to do. So let's talk about that in a very clear way. Good For Pain is a pain management company. We produce topicals that work in seconds. And the only way for you to know whether it works is to try it. Everyone knows loved ones in pain, whether it's ourselves or anybody else. It is very black and white. It does not have to be fancy. Our core team. But first I want to start with the motivation of why we started Good For. My wife, Cindy, stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, her death due date, that is her prognosis, was approximately 4 years ago. Her only suffering was not from cancer, but from the secondary effects, the side effects, the adverse effects from her very powerful toxic chemotherapeutic drug. We solved that problem. We didn't cure her cancer, but she's what many people would say is in remission. We are represented, whether it be financially or legally, technically across the board by the upper echelon of proprietary companies. No pain, no gain. The topical market just in the United States currently approaches $1 billion a year just for pain topicals. It's enormous. Our milestones. We formed in January 2019. We launched our website in August because we wanted to test everything. We took the next 8 to 9 months to do product testing, real life, not in the lab, because we had already developed our unique formulations. We found that it worked. We charged money. We varied the pricing to see where the pain points were, quite frankly, and we settled on being under the average by far. And you will talk about this later. Like the previous company, we conform to pharmaceutical procedures, and as you can see here, our products, our pain topicals, are registered with will be registered with the FDA next week. We have a patent pending, which will be registered next week, next month, that is. And we also have quite a few affiliations. Now, we were wrong at first. I know that's the wrong thing to say when you're trying to raise money, but every entrepreneur needs to avoid becoming an entrepreneur, making a you-know-what mess. We made assumptions, key assumptions. And the one key assumption that we knew was a conclusion was everyone wants to know what's good for them. Again, Good For is just part of our language. And yet we were able to successfully register it. We succeeded in a number of areas in direct to consumer, but we realized something, that even though we had tremendous customer proof, which you can see here, our products allowed customers to judge whether they work, not in minutes, hours, or days, but in 10 seconds. You either know it works or it doesn't. It works so well that 30% of all of our revenue comes from customer repurchasing. We have over 150 customer testimonials, and we provide no incentive, payment, product, or any of that. We do not have any Me Too products. Nothing in our pain topicals is Me Too. We even challenge companies to reverse engineer our product using whatever equipment they wish, and we'll test A/B with them. Bring it on, and they will find that our product works very quickly, lasts for hours, does not have any drug-to-drug interaction. We have scientific proof, which you could see. We're also starting the first, well, I won't say the first. I'll simply say, without bragging, we have a clinical trial conforming to all pharma standards beginning next month. But most importantly is what we learned. We must change from direct to consumer or retail, selling individually to customers, to wholesale. And that's where all investment dollars go. We're not giving up on direct to consumer. We will still market to and have direct people to come to our website, goodfor.us. But if you want to succeed globally or even domestically in the United States, you must have other distribution methods, wholesale. If someone wanted to order 100,000 or more units of our products, we could deliver them in less than 4 weeks. We control our supply chain. These are the products we have now for sale. We have quite a few other ones, but we're ridding ourselves of them because our focus is strictly on pain. Product pipeline. All these formulations have been developed and tested because pain comes in many different ways, including emotional and psychological. Good for stress, good for sleep, good for immune support, good for sex, and good for stopping sugar. Incidentally, that stopping sugar is a lozenge, and within 20 to 30 seconds, it will block your your sweet receptors in your mouth, and no product, no beverage, no condiment, no food, no nothing will taste good. It's a behavior modification product. What are our competitive advantages? Well, the first one I'd like to say is the brand name. It cuts through clutter. People understand it. We don't have to blast the word pain or stress or sex or sleep because the brand name says what it is. Our margins on wholesale are even on low quantity, because again, we're a startup, self-funded by my wife, Cindy, and myself. It's approximately 55%, but retail margins extremely higher, as you can see. Superior performance, that's a brag, that's sales puffery. So we ask people, just take a sample. We'll send samples out to anybody. So I ask anyone who wants a free sample, go to our website, request it. We'll send you pain samples in the mail right away. We're also able to make pain claims, which are disallowed by the FDA. Now, the FDA has chosen not to go after many companies, but we like to fly over the radar. We want the FDA to find us because we put everything out there, nothing to hide. Trademarks, these are just a few. These are not pending, these are granted. And we have pending trademarks in Canada, Australia, European market, and some Latin America countries. Financial pro forma, well, I guess it's not showing. There it is. Principal assumptions. The shift is from retail direct to consumer to wholesale. The cost of goods is exceedingly low, and we can get specific. All the numbers you see here are supported by monthly financials. And so any investor who wishes to review those, just write me, jeff@goodfor.us, and I'll send them to you. We believe that we cannot achieve hockey stick growth. That's unrealistic. But we can achieve rather quickly tremendous growth because virtually all of the scientific proof, formulations, vendors, control of our supply chain, we've already locked that in. So now it's quite simple. Add finances, spend marketing money, hire two key people, and we're ready to go. Use of funds. You can see these here. These are broad, but we can get very specific, and I invite your questions. We already have nearly $75,000 in product in inventory ready to sell. Here's how we're raising our money. We first thought it would be equity, but our belief about the valuation of the company, particularly with the horizontal and vertical expansion globally for good for, because you can put good for in front of virtually any other product, we realize we need to be realistic, prove that good for makes money for investors. So we've converted this to a convertible promissory note, and you can see. We also have financials based upon, well, what if we raise just 100,000? What can we do? Or 250,000 or 375,000. We know how to modify that. We have a very sophisticated financial model, which I can't reproduce here as we're talking, but I can't produce it in front of you post this talk and presentation. And sweetly, any investor of any amount can practically get free products from us. We don't even put a limit on it. This is good for investors. And so I'm ready to answer all of your questions. Or did I answer everybody's questions?
Jeff, this is
Thank
Josh
you.
Kincaid. I had a
Okay.
question about your revenue projections. You're switching primarily from direct to consumer to wholesale, and then over the next 2 years, you projected to go from 80,000 revenues to 1.8. Can you briefly clarify how you're going to go about that?
Yes, we have minimum orders, of course, which are very reasonable. Full case is simply 24 units. Half a case is 12. It's very simple. The wholesale price is 50% of the retail. The primary, we're launching with 5. We've already launched with 11 products, but we're slimming it down to just 5. The pain topicals, same gel, come in 2 forms. $45, so it's $22.50. And then that's what this is. I will get to your full answer if you can. The green screen kind of blocks everything out. Sorry about that. But it's an airless pump, which means it's contaminant free, easy to dose. A little goes a long way. And then we have these individual packets. These are what people get as samples. And all the information, including the ingredients, are right there. They come 6 to a box. This box is just $19.95, $20. So to a wholesaler, $10. I don't like to, I'm a little bit like Southwest Airlines. We have a certain sense of humor, but we want to have people whose expectations are met. We don't want to over dramatize or over promise. We want to oversupply. We want to exceed everybody's great expectations, which means that very, very simply that we can use my contacts in YPO, the Young Presidents Organization, which is global and a great outlet to get to decision makers, to leverage their distribution network in virtually every country of the world. There's 135 countries represented. In 2015, I started the Young Presidents Organization Cannabis Industry Wealth and Health Group. So I'm in direct connection on a first name basis with almost 400 international YPOers who invest, operate, and/or own their own cannabis companies, whether it's growing companies,
Jeff,
supplies, et cetera, et cetera. I will provide you, Josh, with all the information you want about the logistics of moving from direct to consumer, which we will continue, to wholesale.
Okay. Sorry I missed part of your presentation. I had an outage here, but we're all good now. So I'm going to move on to the next presenter, and that is, and by the way, Jeff, I just want to say that was the best improvement in any presentation I've ever seen in all the times that I've been on these conferences. So well done.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.